But just wanted to let you guys know this is a safe space, right? So there is going to be some partner work with touching on the ribs in particular. We're going to do the rib expansion work. So if in fact you don't want to be touched today, then possibly you can put your hands there and your partner can put the hands on top. Just let your partner know it'll be AB, of course, and then we'll switch around, you know, to the second partner. So safe space, please feel free and use your agency, right? And whatever you need today. Second thing is that I just kind of wanted to let you know, have a couple lines of text ready for at the very end, because we're going to be doing the breath, and the breath is basically at this particular time, what I'm kind of trying to explore today is the breath then going into voice and then saying a few lines of text. Okay, so with that, how that expansion works for the time that we're together, and then for the ultimate just saying of text, and what your experience is that in your body, right? In your body itself. So with that said, everybody give a good stretch. Hey, y'all. Oh, stretch to the back and to the front. And now give a really big yawn, raising the soft palate, having the tongue a little bit forward. And one more time. Stretch forward. Right? Nice sigh of relief. Put your hands in back and bring yourself up if you can, however that works. Bringing the shoulders into relaxation. Nice breath. Okay, and then I just want you to shake your right arm. Shake, 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 right? And then now add sound to it. Ha, 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 ha. And shake the left arm. Because what can we do with our muscles? We can scrunch, stretch, and shake, right? 3 things that muscles can do, and now we're going to sound with it. Ha, 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 ha. Okay, now I'm going to take a leg, and we're shaking. If you need to touch the wall, if you're a little bit unbalanced, so just shaking, 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 and then add some sound. Other side. Shake and shake and shake and shake and shake. And then sounding. Shake your body. Just shake. Okay, take your face, squeeze it really tight. And then big smile. And squeeze it. And big smile. Blow out the lips. Check it out. Give it a little massage in the face. Forehead, eyes, nose, cheeks, chin, lips, right around the nose, and go around the cheekbones. I know, Bella. Whatever you can do. And then just give it some really good downward strokes to the masseter muscle, that jaw muscle. Bring the fingertips off the chin. Stand for a second in your neutral position, feet hip distance apart. Check your body, check your alignment. Nice long spine. Make sure the shoulders are nice and loose. Maybe bounce them a few times. Bounce the knees a few times as well. We're going to go back to this as neutral, right? So take your hand, put one hand on the belly. Feel the breath coming in. And take both hands from the sides of your ribs. And just release all the air in your body. And then let the ribs expand. Again, 2 more times. With follow this air. If anybody gets dizzy, just take a seat on the floor, all right? Then we're gonna take the hands and we're gonna put them in the front of the ribs. Same thing, release all the breath. Let the air just come back in. Like a balloon. Last time. Now take your hands, put them on the back. Same thing. Let the back expand. Last time. Now take your hands and just put them underneath your armpits, and because your lungs go very high, right? And so this can expand as well. You're gonna notice it's not gonna be as much as obviously the floating ribs at the bottom. But let's do it one more time. Check your knees, make sure they're not locked. Again, release all the air. Can you feel those high ribs? There's not as much cartilage up there, so they're not gonna expand and contract as much, right? All right, then just like to give them a shake. Another little yawn. Okay, now I want you guys to do this now again, but in pairs. So however you want to pair yourself up today, there's going to be an A and a B, just pick. Might as well. There you go, okay. So let's face this camera over here. So A is going to be in front and B is going to be in back. So however you want to do this, there you go. Okay, so what we're going to do, okay, we're going to do the same thing, but this time B is going to grab the ribs on the sides, right? And the fingertips, the pinky should be right at the base of the ribs. Fantastic. Does anybody have any problems? Because you can always have somebody put your hands and the other hands on top, right? Okay, we're good? Okay, fantastic. So from here, what we're gonna do is you're gonna add B is gonna add just a little bit of resistance. Gentle, gentle, gentle. So when we release all the air, you're going to be able to experience that breath going in and out. So everybody, let's try it. A, release all the air. And then let the ribs just spring back. From here, B is going to take the hands and move them to the front of the ribs. So the fingertips are going to be right there where the ribs start, right? And so you're gonna have the fingertips here, and then we're gonna do it again. So release all the breath. 2 more times. Do you feel the ribs springing down? The air coming in. And then the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the hands and we're gonna put them on the back. So the hands will just go right on the back, and you can put them just like here, right? And a little bit of pressure, maybe even if you just lean that little, that's perfect. And again, a slight pressure, just be able to feel the ribs expanding from the back now, so exhale. Let the air just come back in. And one more time. Perfect, perfect. All right. Now, switch. Ribs on the side first. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, exhale. Let the ribs just come back out. 2 more times. Again, slight pressure from B. Now B is going to move the hands just to the front. You're going to be able to feel right where the ribs start right here. So again, releasing all the air. Let the ribs expand. 2 more times. One more time. Let the hands go in the back. Again, release all the air. And everybody give a big yawn. And a little bit of a shake, shake a leg, shake the hips. Okay, so now we're back into it. Now, I want to bring attention to the diaphragm, right? So the diaphragm, what I'm going to ask you to do this time, everybody get your water if you need it, absolutely. Hands on the lower part of the belly. So this should be like, your thumb should maybe be like an inch below your belly button. And I want you just center yourself, making sure the knees are not locked, the shoulders are back, the neck is long, the shoulders are down. Now think of just underneath your hands, just that area just melting, right? As you're breathing in. I'm gonna take 3 breaths here. I'm gonna ask you to move your hands to the lower back. Same again, 3 breaths. You'll just feel the melting right there with your energy and your breath is going to go into that area. And take your hands just to the upper part. Use the back of your hands if you choose to. Again, feeling the ribs expanding as we're coming close to where the diaphragm is, right? And just like take a moment and take 3 breaths here. Now take one hand on your lower belly and one hand just below your solar plexus, just right kind of in between your ribs. And from here, just do a little bit of a pant. As your diaphragm bouncing. Okay, and just bring that to a close. And now I'm going to ask you to pant like a puppy. Now everybody pause out. And around the room. And over stop. So as you know, right, as the belly expands, the diaphragm goes down. So the air comes in. Okay, back in your partners. And this time we're going to do exercise called cow belly. So partner A is going to be on the floor. You can go on a mat if you choose to. And it's going to be like this, right? So you're going to have your head just hanging. And I need you just to release the belly. We've done this before. You guys might have done this as well. And so what's going to happen if you guys get if partner A gets on all fours, and just releasing that breath, that diaphragm in the belly. And so what we're going to do, may I touch your back?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
So what we're going to do here is we're just going to have a nice flat back. Let's see if we can do that. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, then maybe the knees out just a little bit farther. That's it. And so, yeah, that's a beautiful flat back. So what you're going to do now is you're going to grab the sides and just, again, one more time, feel those ribs expanding with 2 or 3 breaths. And then what B is going to do is going to have one hand here to keep that back nice and flat. You are not going to touch the belly, but you're going to have a hand just below. And as you bring the belly up and then just release it, just like we've been doing, but now we're in a different gravitational area of release because now we're facing downward. So no vanity here. It's going to be, does anybody mind touching my belly? Sure. Bella? Okay, so if you put one hand on my back, for example, keeping my back nice and flat, put one hand just below, you're not touching the belly, but it's just right there. And I'm going to go and what this is doing, it's also engaging your support, right? That brings it in, and then you're dropping it because the air is just going up, right? That's it. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, go for it.
And one hand on the back, just keeping that. First off, we're going to do the ribs. We do the ribs first,
Oh,
right?
right,
So
right.
just feel those ribs. Like, let's say, like take 2 breaths with that, just to bring that rib expansion back into our memory, right? And B, when you're ready, then you'll move into the position, right? And you put one hand just in the back, just as a reminder to keep that back nice and flat. You don't want to let concave it, right? And you'll take like 3 breaths and do this and just release. Try it on an S. I'm going to ask you to try it on an S. Okay. And then release. 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 Last one. And that's fine, and switch over.
I mean, I have to come from the back first.
Yeah,
or just
on the sides,
arms
on the
first?
sides first. I'm gonna go both ribs first,
Okay.
right? Just to remind us of what we did before. So take 2 or 3 breaths like this, just reminding yourself to expand those ribs out. That's that 360 expansion of air, right? So the back is expanding, the side is expanding, the front of the ribs are expanding with that beautiful breath that you've been doing. Max, just let your head hang. Be nice and comfortable. Sister, you can let your head hang as well. And then B, when you're ready, you just put one hand on the back, and then one hand underneath, not touching the belly, but if the belly drops, then that's fine too. There you go. And again, this is a reminder to keep the back nice and straight. You don't want to concave. Perfect. Okay, so everybody, if you need to, is anybody feeling lightheaded? We're okay?
All good, thanks.
Fantastic. Okay, so everybody back on your feet. And we're going to open once up to the sky, a little backwards now. Bounce on your knees a little bit. And again, just shake an arm, shake another arm, shake a leg, shake another leg. And shake the bum. It likes it. It likes it. Okay, so from here, what I want to do, the next thing I want to do is the beach ball. And I'm going to do beach ball 1 and 2. So basically, put your hand just on your chest, right? Again, on an S this time, release the air. And when you use an S, even an F, or you're engaging your transverse, and the transverse is your major muscle of expiration, right? So with that transverse, that's for many of the muscles are used for inhalation, but for exhalation, it's the transverse, right? So an S and an F engage that. So that's really a good one for support of your core and support of your voice, right? So ribs expanding, support of the core. You can be heard in the biggest amphitheater, okay? So right now, from here, when all the air is gone, you hold for just a moment. Can you feel like that kind of a reaction, right? It like the breath just comes right into the lungs and fills the lungs completely. So we're here, so we're gonna go. Hold for a second. Last one. Right? Drop it, shake your hands, shake your hands, shake your hands. Now hands on the belly, the lower belly. It's just beneath. We can do it again. This is another beach ball, but it comes from a little bit lower, right? So we're gonna do the same thing, except we're gonna expand out from here, okay? So it's gonna be hold it for a moment, and then let it go. Hold it for a moment. And last time. Hold it for a moment. And let go. And then shake, 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 shake. And one more time, open to the sky. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so just walk the room for a second. And if you guys want to line up when you're ready, right over here to the mirror. I don't know if you can all see it, or maybe even if you're just a little off the mirror from here. I'm just going to do a little bit of resonance, right? Oh, you're staggered, that's perfect. So what I want you to do now is just hum in the oral cavity. Yeah, if you want to do a little chewing, that's good too. Think of the ribs expanding then. Last time. Now bring this into the nose. Right? And now try to hum with this. One more time. Last time. One hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. And this time, let's bring it down. You feel the vibration? Let the roots expand. And just let it go for a second. Then I'm going to ask you to count. All right? 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 2 by 3 to 12. And it's going to go like this. Think about that resonance that you just had, because you've expanded the lungs. You now have a resonance. It should be oral, nasal. You should have a nice mix of resonances that you can call on. 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 2 by 3, 1 by 2 by 3 by 4 to 12. Okay? So 3, 2, 1, go.
1, 1 by 2, 1 by 2 by 3, 1 by 2 by 3 by 4, 1 by 2 by 3 by 4 by 5, 1 by 2 by 3 by 4 by 5 by 6, 1 by 2 by 3 by 4 by 5 by 6 by 7, 1 by 2 by 3 by 4 by 5 by 6 by 7 by 8, 1 by 2 by 3 by 4 by 5 by 6 by 7 by 8 by 9, 1 by 2 by 3 by 4 by 5 by 6 by 7 by 8 by 9 by 10, 1 by 2 by 3 by 4 by 5 by 6 by 7 by 8 by 9 by 10 by 11, 1 by 2 by 3 by 4 by 5 by 6 by 7 by 8 by 9 by 10 by 11 by 12.
Yay! How's that for breath capacity?
Great.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's just using the breath that you've just expanded into your bodies, right? So you've just done a whole bunch of expansion, a whole bunch of breath capacity, right? Feeling those ribs, being able to utilize them into your voice. Now I'd like you just to walk the room for just 2 or 3 lines of whatever text you have that's right at the top of your head, something you don't have to think too much about. And you can say it to the wall, you can say it to whatever you want to do, to the floor, to the ceiling. And when you're ready, go.
When she tells me
It's
that she's
tomorrow
pregnant,
and tomorrow
well, I'm in the middle of roasting a chicken. To be specific, I'm in the middle of a chicken.
the last syllable of recorded time.
And all our yesterdays have lighted fools.
It was 7 minutes after midnight. The dog was lying
When
on
she
the
tells me
ground.
she's pregnant, I'm in the middle of roasting
Tomorrow
a
and
chicken.
tomorrow and
To be
tomorrow.
specific, I'm in the
In
middle
this
of
petty
basting
pace from
chicken.
day to day to the last syllable of recorded time.
The dog was
And
lying
all
on
our
the ground.
yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dust
When
and
she
death.
tells me she's pregnant, I'm in the middle of roasting a chicken.
Its eyes were closed.
I chose not to think about.
Bring it down. Yay. Sit in a second circle, please. Okay,
I'm sorry.
okay. How was that? I just want to talk a little bit about how that breath exploration into text might have been for you. Anything?
It's always a good reminder of what I think is my limit before I do any of that stuff. And then when I do a good breath capacity with resonance warm up, it pushes way beyond. It goes from 50 to 150.
And it's just a matter of the doing, yeah?
Yeah, you had said a moment ago about like thinking of it like a balloon, and I think of how like the first one you blow into a balloon, it's like really tough, but then once you do that, let the air out, keep doing it again and again, it's just so much easier, and that's exactly what this feels like.
Also, this is really good because you have the intercostal muscles, right? And if you don't expand them and use them, they will atrophy. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if you've seen people where all of a sudden they cannot expand their lower ribs anymore. So the idea of expanding those lower ribs and exercising those intercostals like a balloon, right, is really, really kind of cool. And it's necessary for performers, right? It's necessary to be able to have the maximum air capacity that is available to you, right, on the day anyway.
I mean, I feel for me, I have to, always be conscious of projection when performing. But when I do, such breath work as this, even for, the 15 or 20 minutes, as I'm speaking, like it's in the back of my head, but I don't have to work half as hard to be twice as loud. Right. And additionally, like being aware just of my, anatomy, like in those exercises then, helps me to like not jut my neck forward or not lean my shoulders out or, stand in proper posture. So, I mean, it's crazy how much 15 minutes can make a difference.
Yeah. Well, and it makes a difference between yelling from your throat versus projecting from your diaphragm.
And having that little bit of support, right?
And grounding your lower body too.
Exactly.
I think for me as well, when I was down on the mat on the floor and you said, look, you're working too hard, I was like, yeah, wow, I am. And then when I was up on the floor, after like realizing that I can relax some of the tension and just rely on the support, I was just like, whoa, okay. Like there's so much more space there. Right?
And as you guys have said, it makes it just a little bit easier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It makes it just a little bit easier. Oh my God, I thank you so much.
Thank you.
So
This is the
much.
best.
This was so much fun for me as well.
It's like the best little taste of the work that we've been doing on this.
Right.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
It was a treat for me.
Yeah.
It's been too long.
Yeah.